Well, I think we can safely assume that Murphy's Law is still very much in charge of Murphy. After my video saying how important it was to follow the guidelines on the life certificate, you may remember, I was saying how the life certificate is your government's way of finding or confirming that you are alive. And the way that they do that, to go over it again, probably for myself apparently, the way to do that is they send you a letter, which I showed you here. This one is for the UK. I'm probably looking backwards, but anyway, it's a letter which gives you a very short, easy to fill out form, and basically what they're asking is everything still the same? And then they give you an envelope which you must put that form into, and use that envelope, which is of course their envelope, to return the life certificate. They call it the life certificate. It doesn't say on it about being a life certificate. It just says that you need to send that in, and it needs to be correctly filled. So in other words, if during the time that you've been, say, in the Philippines, which we're obviously talking about now, if you had got married, right, or if you'd had a child, like our friend Martin, who lives not around the corner, but not very far on the other side of Taliban, and he has been blessed with a child, and he would have to put that into the life certificate, because probably it would affect his pension. They'd probably pay him more for having had a child. So you send it back by snail mail, all right, because it's a piece of paper in a paper envelope, and it has to go by the Postal Service. This is where the problem occurs, because they gauge the arrival of their envelope, and they give you 6 weeks to respond from the time that you receive it. So they must make some kind of guess or estimate on how long it will be before you actually get that letter. So once you get that letter, let's say that they've gauged, I'm only making assumptions now, but it's fairly logical to assume that they'll say, okay, he should have this letter by, say, the 1st of the month. So they gauge the postal delivery of your letter to the 1st of the month, and they give you 6 weeks to return the letter. Because obviously there's no point in asking for a response from you if they don't know how long they're going to wait before they get confirmation of your being alive. And that's where the problem is, because no matter how hard you try, the Postal Service in the Philippines, wherever you are, may not tell you that you have the letter. So let's say that your letter, as maybe my letter, has probably sat at the post office for maybe 2 weeks. Now, it's already sat there for 2 weeks, and I get it. Now, I always deal with that within a day. So I deal with that, then I take it back. So another couple of days, take it back to the post office, and I pay them whatever the postal cost is. I pay for that on the envelope. So now the envelope is heading back to, in this case, back to the UK, and it's going to take 6 weeks. But we've already wasted 2 weeks, but we don't know that. It's an unknown factor. So what has obviously happened with my letter is it has been waiting there longer than I know about. And then I send that letter off, Now, normally I confirmed that, as I suggested in my video. I confirmed that with an email which shows a shot, a little picture of the fact that I sent the letter to them and when it went. So that hopefully will allow for them to say, well, it's obviously on its way, even though we haven't received it, and they may accept that. Okay, in this case, none of that worked, which is a good lesson actually, as a follow-up to the video that I made about the life certificate. In an ideal world, everybody would be doing their job just great. They would gauge right when I was going to get the letter, or when you were going to get the letter. It would actually come here on the 1st, and on the end of business on the 1st, post office would tell me or you that the letter was there, and you, knowing that it was the important letter, you would go down there straight away and pick the letter up, fill the form out and get it back on its way, with 6 weeks probably being enough time. It wasn't enough time for me, and so they stopped my UK pension. It's not a huge problem if you have a reserve on which to draw, and if you don't, then it can be a little bit of hardship, shall we say. All right, so we've had huge bills very recently, so our reserve is not as healthy as it should be, and this is life in the Philippines. It can happen. So now we have had to get in touch. It tells you here information, have many ways, says we have many ways we can communicate to you. If I wanted to, I could actually I could use Braille, British Sign Language, email and hearing loop, whatever that is, translations, large print, audio or something else to contact us. Well, we didn't find the need for doing Braille or sign language. I always find that sign language is quite difficult in email, don't you find? Anyway, having said that about the UK, whenever I call the UK, I can actually talk to someone. It's not quite so easy if I have to call the US. But the UK, there's a very welcome voice on the end of the line that's speaking. The last time that I had to call, it was a young lady, and they're in Geordieland, around the Newcastle area, okay? And it was a pleasure to hear that accent. So anyway, we've sent off an email explaining what has happened, and it probably will take a couple of months. Now, you do get refunded in full, so it's not like you lose any benefit, but it's just something that you can do without. It's a trial and a problem that you can do without. Okay, so that's the message from this little video, and my confession of failing to do it as right as I advised you to. So anyway, enjoy your evening. It's evening for us here, and we'll be having dinner soon, and we'll look forward to being with you again. If this is of any interest to someone that you know, please help us to provide content by sharing, by commenting, by putting a like on it at least, and of course subscribing. It does help because the YouTube algorithm takes into account all action on the channel in order to continue to put it out to other people. So we've had this problem before where we haven't been promoted, we haven't been shared as much, we haven't had the privilege of being put out to other people on the internet, and that's really what we need. And for the person who said, who made the comment, yes, we'll help you to build your new house and your resort. Ha 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 ha. Let me ask you a question. Do you work for nothing? Do you go to work, and at the end of the working week, when they say, hey, Mr. Cleverdick, come and get your wages, you say, no, it's okay. I'm working for the fun of it. Well, we do have fun, but we also, for the little that YouTube pays, it's only good because it comes translated or exchanged from dollars. So dollars to pesos, it actually works out that it's a help. So that's my little comment there. So do share, because it really does help us a great deal, and we are trying our best to give you entertaining, fairly raw. I know our videos are raw. We don't do the high production tricks of speeding up bits of other people's videos and all that kind of stuff. It's straight from us, and that's what we pride ourselves on. So please comment and share. We love to have your comments, and we do, even the Clever Dick ones, we will still respond.